Other people have talked about mousetraps. In particular, there's a man named Ken Miller. He's a professor of biology at Brown University.
Ken Miller is one of your antagonists. He is one that's written in scientific journals about TTSS, yes?
Yes.
And explain what that is very quickly.
TTSS is the type 3 secretory system. It's a subpart of the flagellum. The flagellum, I told you, has to build itself. This thing called the type 3 secretory system can pump out the parts of the flagellum out through a hollow tube where they can assemble themselves. So it can act as a protein pump, or a pump for the parts of the flagellum.
And what he's really getting at is that what he's saying is if we can show that this TTSS is a secretory, what was it, I'm sorry?
A pump.
It's a pump.
Uh-huh.
It's a building block, okay, of a part of the complex structure that makes up the bacteria flagellum. And his point is, if we see this in other cells or other mechanics within cells, and it's pushing itself forward because TTSS appears in other type cells, then there's evidence that maybe it could have evolved to this place.
Yes.
Now, I want you to respond to that, because I know that sometimes a lot of the folks that are your antagonists get to write and put their opinions in journals, and when you try and respond, your articles are...
They're deemed uninteresting.
Yes, or rejected.
Yeah, they're
which gets to a question I want to ask you. The disclaimer you gave at the beginning, was that your idea, or do powers that be suggest strongly that you give it?
Well, a little bit of both. Powers that be thought it would be a good idea, and I agreed with them, because you have to realize that in the scientific community, I don't get as many laughs as I get here. And my colleagues were getting static because of the crazy guy down the hall from them. And they were getting emails from other people asking if Lehigh University was turning itself into a Bible college, and graduate students from Lehigh who were going out for postdoctoral interviews were being laughed at because I am at Lehigh.
You were on the faculty.
I'm on the faculty there. So
and this is a lot of what the movie Expelled really is about. It's about
yes.
some of the pressures within the scientific community to, I think what they say is the science of intelligent design is neither intelligent nor science.
Yeah, they do that. They say very strongly, but they don't have any more reason for it than I've been showing you with some of the responses to my
exactly.
To my argument.
So it gets to an ad hominem, or to the man.
Yes.
They make these statements. They call it science in a cheap tuxedo, and yet when the evidence for that claim are brought forward, they don't stand well on the stage up against it.
No, that's correct. I mean, I'm trying to show the best responses to my arguments, and as you can see, they're just not that impressive. But nonetheless, somebody will bang a gavel, as the judge says, and said, "No, you're clearly not scientific. You go away." It's more or less like people in the Soviet Union a long time ago who objected to communism. They were put in mental institutions because if you didn't think communism was the right system, clearly you were not functioning very well. It's very similar to that.
Or you were exiled to a very cold, lonely place, which is a little bit of what's happening. I want to come back this a little bit. I want to get Steve back up here to talk about the evidence for intelligent design within the digital code. One last question before we move. How do I get a subscription to that Cell magazine? It just looked absolutely riveting.
Just write to MIT Press.
Okay, thank you. So that was flooding in on our text line, and I wanted to go ahead and get to that. If I could. All right, let's yield to Steve, and then we'll come back up, and we might look at Mr. Miller's tie clip. Or do you want to give a quick explanation of what that slide was, since they got a peek at it, and will Steve come out here and be ready to go as soon as you're done?
Yeah, Kenneth Miller says, well, I can take away a piece, and it won't function as a mousetrap anymore, but I can use it as a tie clip. Yeah, you can, but you can't use it as a mousetrap anymore, and that's the point of irreducible complexity. And I was going to go into great detail about that, but I guess I won't.
All right. Well, we are honored that you're here.